Hello, this is Cheryl McGuire, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the August 13th, 2026 issue of the Toronto Sun on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Latest obituaries. Dr. Joseph Charles Parati obituary. Dr. Joseph Charles Parati, known to family and friends as Joe, passed away on Tuesday, August 4th, 2026 in Mississauga, Ontario, at the age of 85 from dementia. Joe leaves behind his loving wife of 61 years, Monica, his sons Joseph, wife Beth, and David, wife Sheila, and grandchildren Andrew, wife Susie, Laura, husband Matthew, and Sophie. He has always been very proud of his family and was thrilled to find out he was to be a great-grandpa in September. For online condolences, please visit the Turner and Porter website at www.turnerporter.ca. Published on August 9th, 2026. Toronto and GTA. Toddler airlifted to trauma center as crash shuts down 401 in Pickering. Mother also hurt as OPP warned of heavy delays in area by Jordan Ursit. A toddler has been airlifted to a trauma center after a single vehicle crash that also injured the child's mother on Thursday afternoon led to the closure of the eastbound lanes of Highway 401 in Pickering. The OPP's Highway Safety Division advised motorists to keep away from the area in a post on social media as all eastbound lanes of the 401 were shut down at Brock Road. We have a full closure in place, and that will remain in place for several hours, I suspect, as we do our investigation here on the highway. On the scene and clear the vehicles from the road, Sergeant Carrie Schmidt said in the video update released just after 4 p.m. Child's mother also injured. Schmidt said the crash happened an hour earlier around 3 p.m., approaching Brock, and involved a single vehicle in the express lanes. He said the driver of the vehicle, the child's mother, was hospitalized with minor injuries, and police were awaiting for an update on the condition of the injured 1-year-old. He said police were filtering traffic from express lanes onto the collectors so that they could exit the highway as cops expected heavy delays in the area. The crash happened 2 days after another child and an adult were critically injured in a Tuesday evening crash on Highway 403 in Mississauga near Square One Shopping Center. Americans critically hurt in 403 crash. In that crash, the injured parties, a 12-year-old boy and a 43-year-old man from the United States, were on the side of the highway near Mavis Road at about 5 p.m. as drivers exchanged information from a previous two-vehicle crash. A third vehicle then plowed into one of the pulled over vehicles and pushed it into the man and the boy, while a third person suffered minor injuries. It was unclear if their conditions had improved as of Thursday afternoon. Police said the driver of the third vehicle was not injured. The crash led to the closure of the westbound 403 for several hours, with the OPP's Mississauga detachment investigating the incident. 2 Romanian men charged in York Region ATM cash trap scheme by Spiro Papukowski. 2 men from Romania have been arrested and charged after police north of Toronto launched an investigation into an ATM scheme. York Regional Police said investigators with the Financial Crimes Unit received 14 reports from banks between June 17th and July 27th involving what they called cash trap events, where an apparatus was installed on ATMs. In these incidents, the suspects attended ATMs and installed double-sided adhesive tape inside the cash dispensing slot, preventing victims from fully or partially retrieving their cash, police said in a statement. The suspects would then return to the ATM to remove the trapped money. Police said 2 suspects were arrested August 6th. During the investigation, officers located and seized a large quantity of double-sided tape along with fabricated metal slides believed to have been used to make the cash trap devices, cops said. Razvan Zenica, 41, has been charged with 13 counts each of theft under $5,000 and mischief under $5,000. Basil Stoen, 52, has been charged with 6 counts each of theft under $5,000 and mischief under $5,000. Investigators released images of both suspects as police said the pair were known to travel throughout southwestern Ontario and believe there may be additional victims. If you observe anything suspicious or believe an ATM has been tampered with, please report it to police and notify the financial institution immediately, cops said. Police ask anyone with information to contact the Financial Crimes Unit at 1-866-876-5423, extension 6612, or leave an anonymous tip by calling Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's TIPS or 8477. Toronto police bust break-and-enter ring, recover up to $1.5 million in stolen goods by Gordon Anderson. Toronto police have smashed a break-and-entering ring, recovering stolen goods estimated to be worth more than $1 million. Officers arrested 3 individuals and laid 150 charges and recovered thousands of items believed to have been stolen during these offenses, Inspector Joe Mattis of 14 Division said Thursday morning. Dubbed Project Compass, the investigation began in September 2025 after police identified a series of break-and-enter offenses targeting condominium owners believed to contain cash, gold, luxury watches, jewelry, coins, and other high-value property. On March 27th, police executed 5 criminal code search warrants at 3 residential addresses and arrested the suspects. Some of the charges include conspiracy to commit an indictable offense, disguised with intent, break-and-enter, possession of proceeds of crime, and possession of break-in instruments. Investigators seized more than 2,500 items, including jewelry, cash, watches, coins, and precious metals, with an estimated value of between $1 million and $1.5 million. Investigators believe there were 21 break-and-enter occurrences across the Greater Toronto Area. The names of the accused were not released because the matter is still before the courts. We do believe that there are more victims, and as more are identified, additional charges will be laid, Mattis said. Police did not say whether there are other people suspected of being involved in the thefts. Police were asked if the crimes were facilitated by security personnel in the buildings. Most of the condos and buildings have security, but I am not going to speak how they gained access to the building, 14 Division Detective Inspector Bruno Miron said. It is part of the evidence that is before the courts. A secondary portion of the investigation involves an undisclosed pawn shop in the Queen Street East and Church Street area. Toronto police alleged that stolen property was being trafficked through this business and converted into cash. The pawn shop owner has not been arrested yet, Miron said. He is part of the investigation, and he may be facing charges in the near future. For those who believe they were victims of these crimes, police have created a website where members of the public can view photographs of recovered items and submit ownership claims. The website can be accessed through the Toronto Sun website through this article. Mississauga man accused of voyeurism, suspect wanted for Vaughan sex assault by Spiro Papukowski. A 34-year-old Mississauga man has been accused of voyeurism following an incident at an Oakville store last month. Halton Regional Police said officers were called July 22nd to a Winners outlet on Winston Churchill Boulevard after a man allegedly used his cell phone to record a woman changing inside a fitting room. The victim confronted the man, but he fled before officers arrived, cops said. Investigators were able to identify the suspect, and he was arrested in Oakville on July 27th, police said. Jeffrey Abu Mekrik has been charged with voyeurism. The accused was released on an undertaking with a future court date in Milton. Cops said investigators are concerned there may be additional victims and released a photo of the accused. Anyone who may have been victimized by the accused or who has information about the investigation is asked to contact investigators at 905-825-4777, extension 2216, or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS, TIPS, or 8477. Suspect wanted for Vaughan sex assault. Police north of Toronto have turned to the public to help identify a man wanted for an alleged sex assault. York Regional Police said the alleged incident occurred at approximately 9 a.m. on June 25th at a Vaughan restaurant near Keeley Street and Rutherford Road. According to police, the victim was inside a washroom when he was approached by an unknown suspect who then touched him for a sexual purpose. The suspect fled after being confronted by the victim. Investigators described the suspect as a white male, approximately 6 feet tall, with white hair. He was last seen wearing a blue shirt, light-colored pants, and a baseball cap. Cops believe the suspect frequents this area. Anyone who may have information or who may have been in the area at the time of the incident is asked to contact police at 1-866-876-5423, extension 7441, or Crime Stoppers anonymously at 1-800-222-TIPS, TIPS, or 8477. Pair charged in Oshawa drug bust. A man and a woman in their 40s face multiple charges in Oshawa following a drug bust this week. And Durham Regional Police say the male suspect is also accused of not complying with his probation. Police said a drug investigation dubbed Project Atlantis led to a search warrant being executed Wednesday on a temporary makeshift residence in the area of Bond Street West and McMillan Drive. A man and woman were located and taken into custody without incident, police said. A search of the temporary residence led to the seizure of several drugs, including fentanyl, crystal methamphetamine, hydromorphone, and Dilaudid, cops said. A quantity of Canadian and U.S. currency, drug paraphernalia, and a prohibited conducted energy weapon were also seized. Jason Boyd, 45, and Melissa Boyd, 41, have been charged with trafficking in Schedule I substance, 3 counts of possession of Schedule I substance for the purpose of trafficking, possessing proceeds obtained by crime under $5,000, unlawfully possessing Schedule I substance, possessing a dangerous weapon, and possessing a prohibited weapon. Jason Boyd is also accused of failing to comply with a probation order. Police are asking anyone with information about this incident to contact Constable McKinnon at 1-888-579-1520, extension 1708, or call Durham Regional Crime Stoppers to leave an anonymous tip at 1-800-222-TIPS, TIPS, or 8477. Sexual assault after exiting Hamilton bus. Hamilton police are hoping the public can help identify a suspect wanted in connection with a sexual assault last month. Police said the victim exited an HSR bus at approximately 7:50 a.m. on July 16th in the Main Street and Whitney Avenue area when an unknown male approached her and she was allegedly sexually assaulted. The suspect is described as black, approximately 5'6" to 5'11", with a thin to medium build and short dark hair. Investigators released an image of the suspect and said he was wearing a black t-shirt and pants, black Nike Air Force One style shoes or similar footwear, white over-the-ear headphones, and carrying a beige backpack. Anyone who may have information that could assist with this investigation, including information regarding the identity of the suspect, is asked to contact Detective Amy Kay of the Sex Crimes Unit at 905-546-3868, the Sex Crimes Unit Non-Emergency Administrative Line at 905-540-5553, or provide information anonymously through Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS, TIPS, or 8477. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Toronto Sun on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Durham Police grieving member after second officer death in 2 days by Spiro Papukoski. Police in Durham are mourning the loss of one of their members a day after a Hamilton police officer passed away. Durham Regional Police said the death of the member, whom they did not name out of respect for the family's privacy, happened Wednesday. Our member was a dedicated public servant, a caring colleague, and a valued member of our DRPS family, police said in a social media statement Thursday. Their passing has been deeply felt across our service. We will remember them for their kindness, commitment to serving others, and the positive impact they had on those around them. Supports available. Police says support will be available to the family, loved ones, and fellow members during this tragic time. They also offered their heartfelt condolences to the family, loved ones, friends, and colleagues. This loss serves as a reminder that we are more than colleagues. We are a family, police added. Behind every badge number is a valued and respected person, deeply loved by their family, friends, and fellow members. The Durham Regional Police Association is also grieving the tragic loss of offered condolences to the family, friends, colleagues, and those who knew the fallen member. As an association, we continue to stand together and support our members and their families, offering strength, compassion, and support during this incredibly difficult time, the organization said in a social media statement. Second death. It is the second police death in as many days after Hamilton Police announced Wednesday that an unarmed officer had also died. Our member was a dedicated officer who served our community and stood alongside his colleagues with commitment and professionalism. His loss is felt deeply across our service, police said in a statement Wednesday. In times like this, we are reminded that policing is more than a profession. It is a family. We stand together in grief as we support the member's family, loved ones, friends, and colleagues. The Hamilton Police Association said help is being offered to those who need to speak with someone, adding that support teams and peer support organizations are available. The Toronto Police Association also offered its condolences for the fallen law enforcement workers. For the second time in 2 days, the Canadian policing community is mourning an individual who chose a career dedicated to serving and protecting others, the police union said on social media. We recognize the profound impact these tragedies have across our profession. Members who need support are reminded that the TPA is available 24/7 for anyone seeking assistance. Please do not hesitate to reach out. In Ontario news, Doug Ford's Cautious First Steps in Securing Ontario's AI-Driven Future by Brian Lilly. Doug Ford took his first tentative step on Thursday towards crafting a policy framework in Ontario for AI data centers. He released what he had dubbed Ontario's Data Center Playbook and called for 30 days of public consultation. Ford clearly sees the economic potential for building such centers here in the province, but he also knows there is some public hesitancy. He cited a stat that AI is expected to add $122 billion to the province's economy by 2035. He said, "We can build the economy of the future and protect digital sovereignty or be left behind. Our government is choosing to build the economy of the future to generate billions in economic growth and create thousands of new jobs while ensuring new data centers play by the right rules and pay the full cost of electricity, Ford said. Broad support, but also opposition. Despite his clear support for moving forward on building AI infrastructure here in Ontario, Ford is moving cautiously, knowing there is opposition even within his own party. Mississauga and Oakville councils have passed moratoriums on AI data centers. Hamilton tried, but the vote failed, and Toronto and Waterloo councils voted to have city staff study the issue and report back. A poll by Leger in July found 47% of Ontario residents said building AI data centers in Canada was a good thing compared to 37% who called it a bad thing. When the question became specific about AI data centers being built in your home province, support for such projects fell to 44% in favor and 43% opposed. Separating the noise from the signal. There's a lot of noise and false claims about AI data centers, and those claims are being played up by the fringes of the political left and the political right. The claims include that electricity prices will spike, the water supply will go down, and there will be an incredible amount of noise. Maybe these have been problems in the past, but that doesn't mean they need to be how AI data centers work going forward. Ford's playbook includes commitments that local electricity rates not increase, that government will not offer financial incentives or subsidies, and that those proposing the data centers must invest in local infrastructure in the communities they build in. In many ways, Ford's plan is similar to the plan put forward by Alberta Premier Danielle Smith. Alberta's big bet. Last month, Meta announced a $13 billion investment for a massive AI data center to be based in Sturgeon County, Alberta, just outside of Edmonton. The plan includes the building of a new power plant that will supply the center with electricity generated from Alberta natural gas, meaning it won't tax the grid. The planned development would also see the massive numbers of computers cooled in part by a closed-loop cooling system using minimal amounts of water. Before the Meta project was approved, Smith and her team spent months ensuring the plans answered common concerns. Despite landing the massive investment and putting forward what at this point is the gold standard for AI planning in Canada, she's still facing some pushback. This week, she released a 9-minute video answering what she called the 6 most common questions she hears from residents. Ford is going to face similar skepticism and organized campaigns critical of data centers. Some of those campaigns will be driven by political opponents, others by people scared of a future driven by AI. The fact is, AI is here. We all use it already. Every time spell check corrects a document, our email app suggests an ending for the sentence we are typing, or Google Maps offers up a new route that avoids an accident. It's true that AI is going to disrupt the economy and change the way we work. Some jobs will be lost, but others will be created, just as with every new technology. It's natural for people to be nervous, cautious, and distrustful in the face of this change. Ford gets that and is moving cautiously, but we do need to move to adopt this technology and ensure we aren't left behind in the new economy. Ontario sets strict rules for power-hungry AI data centers by Brian Pasifune. Ottawa. New framework released Thursday by Queen's Park aimed to address the concerns over the proliferation of power-hungry AI data centers. Speaking to reporters in Guelph, Ontario, Premier Doug Ford unveiled the province's new data center playbook, which lays out strict ground rules for tech giants looking to set up shop in Ontario. Economic Development Minister Vic Fedeli said that while data centers have existed quietly in the background for decades, the rapid global expansion of AI has increased the province's need to set some ground rules. Managed responsibly, data centers present a significant opportunity for capital investment, economic growth, strong sovereign digital infrastructure, and data governance for Ontario, he said during Thursday's late morning press conference. However, not every data center proposal will deliver the same value to Ontario. We've heard the concerns raised by municipalities and stakeholders around data centers. The basis of the framework, he said, is to allow the province to navigate the expansion of digital infrastructure that bolsters economic growth while keeping the projects within the province's best interest. A clear strategic framework that guides data infrastructure investments is vital to ensuring that Ontario's businesses, workers, and communities' data stay protected and our economy remains secure, Fedeli added. The initiative aims to draw massive digital infrastructure investments to Ontario, bolster local supply chains, and keep Canadian data stored safely on domestic soil rather than routed through foreign servers. Power water concerns. As more and more AI data centers pop up across North America, so do complaints from local residents and lawmakers about issues including noise, water use, and the incredible amount of power these facilities draw. Through the new framework, Queen's Park promises to ensure the hydro-hungry data centers won't drive up power bills for area residents, with data center owners on the hook for every kilowatt of power they consume. Ontario will also roll out a distinct higher rate billing class for facilities that draw more than 1 megawatt from local grids, while encouraging operators to generate their own power to offset strain on the existing grid. Tech companies looking to open Ontario-based data centers will also face rigorous screening. They must install closed-loop cooling systems that don't dry up local water sources, and the province will favor firms that pledge major financial contributions to the municipalities where they choose to build. Keep our data away from Trump, Ford says. Not everybody was enthusiastic about Ontario's plan. In a statement, Ontario Green Party leader Mike Schreiner said residents want communities and not tech billionaires in charge of developing new data centers. Instead of stepping up with transparent assessments and strong regulations, he'd rather brush it off altogether, he said. And while we wait for real regulations to come online, communities remain at risk as Ford cheerleads unregulated development. Any new data centers, he said, must benefit communities first and not pose a risk to the environment or the pocketbooks of everyday Ontarians. Ontario's announcement comes just days after the town of Oakville announced a one-year moratorium on new data centers, the first municipality in the province to do so, while Mississauga ponders a similar move. Other municipalities such as Hamilton, Toronto, and Waterloo Region have taken the issue to their respective councils. Burlington had pondered similar moratoriums, but last month saw the idea shot down by City Council. Ontario Premier Doug Ford told reporters that AI infrastructure has the potential to bring significant financial gains to the province while keeping Canada's data onshore. Ontario has a choice. We can either build the economy of the future and ensure Canadians' data remains in Canada and out of President Trump's hands, or we can get left behind and risk Canadians' data being sent down to the U.S., where only President Trump, God knows what he'll do with it. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him, Ford said. We want sovereign data. We don't want to rely on President Trump getting his paws all over it. We want to focus on our data and make sure we have a sovereign system. Canadian fugitive wanted in child sex case arrested in California after nearly 35 years by Spiro Papukoski. A 64-year-old Canadian fugitive wanted by police in Hamilton for child sexual abuse offenses has been arrested in California nearly 35 years later. United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials in San Francisco said earlier this month that Charles Peter Bion was taken into custody in Santa Cruz. A fugitive from Canada since 1991, he has stolen property, assault, and drug convictions, and is wanted in Canada for sexual assault involving a child. Enforcement and removal operations in San Francisco wrote on August 4th on X. He is in ICE custody pending removal proceedings. Arrested without incident. Bion was arrested July 29th without incident, ICE spokesperson Jason Sweeney told the Santa Cruz Sentinel in a statement. ICE said Bion allegedly admitted he illegally entered the U.S. while being processed by immigration officials. It is unknown if a formal extradition hearing will be sought to return Bion to Canada. Under President Trump and Secretary Mullen, criminal illegal aliens are not welcome in the U.S., ICE wrote in a statement to the outlet. ICE is working diligently to remove these violent, dangerous offenders from our communities. U.S. Homeland Security also announced Bion's arrest in a statement shared on social media. Foreign criminals cannot hide in the shadows. We will do whatever it takes to find them and remove them from our nation, the agency wrote on X. Long manhunt ends. The arrest ends a 3-decade-long manhunt for the Canadian fugitive. Bion, who was living in Hamilton before he disappeared, is wanted on a Canada-wide warrant on 2 counts each of sexual assault and sexual interference involving his 9-year-old stepdaughter over a 3-year period, the Toronto Sun previously reported. Hamilton police believe he also sexually assaulted his stepdaughter's friend. In 2014, investigators renewed their efforts to locate Bion after he failed to show up to court in December 1991, following his release on a recognizance to answer the charges. And now Charles Bion no longer exists, Detective Paul Henson told the CBC at the time. We can't find him through any traditional means. Police believed at the time that he could be in either Manitoba or New Brunswick, as he had family ties in both provinces. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Toronto Sun on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. In sports news, Blue Jays JoJo Parker, Nolan Perry make MLB Pipeline's list of top 100 prospects. As if Blue Jays fans needed any more bad news, the team's prospect pipeline is not exactly flush with high-end talent. Even worse, the arch-rival Los Angeles Dodgers, fresh of trading a couple of highly regarded prospects for possibly the best pitcher in baseball, continue to have the deepest system in the majors. This is at least according to the latest MLB Pipeline list of the top 100 prospects in baseball and each team's top 30 minor league players. The Blue Jays have 2 players listed in the top 100 as shortstop JoJo Parker. Last year's first-round pick is ranked number 26th overall in his first season of professional baseball, while right-handed pitcher Nolan Perry, a 12th-round pick from the 2022 draft, is ranked 96th overall. Shortstop Arjun Numala, who the Jays dealt to the Los Angeles Angels as part of the deal for the starter Jose Serrano, is ranked 38th overall. Parker recently promoted to High A. The 20-year-old Parker was recently promoted from Single A Dunedin to High A Vancouver after posting 13 home runs, 66 RBIs, 22 steals, and a .85 OPS in 87 Florida State League games. His strong start to pro ball is part of the reason why the Jays shipped Numala, a 20th overall pick in the 2023 draft, to the rebuilding Angels. As for Perry, the 22-year-old has racked up 93 strikeouts in 62 innings to go with a 2.32 ERA and a 1.000 whip at 3 minor league levels, Dunedin, Vancouver, and Double-A New Hampshire, after missing the entire 2025 season due to elbow surgery. Left-handed pitchers Johnny King, another recently promoted prospect, and Cole Carlone, as well as catcher Will Brick, round out Toronto's top 5 minor leaguers, with former top prospect Ricky Tiedemann is ranked 11th overall. Dodgers edge Mariners in prospect points. Meanwhile, the Dodgers' embarrassment of riches at the major league level extend to the minor leagues as they edged out the Seattle Mariners, Tampa Bay Rays, San Francisco Giants, and Detroit Tigers for the best prospect system in baseball, according to MLB Pipeline prospect points. Each player in the top 100 is worth points corresponding to their ranking, with the top prospect worth 100 points and the 100th ranked prospect worth 1 point. Not surprisingly, the Dodgers led the way in this category with 417 PP prospect points and the Mariners are second with 369. MLB Pipeline's Jonathan Mayo wrote, as such, the two-time defending World Series champions have 3 players ranked in the top 20, outfielders Josu De Paula, number 6, Mike Sirota, number 16, and Eduardo Quintero, number 20. 2 others in the top 50 and another in the top 100. That is after trading outfielder Zahir Hope, number 28, and right-handed pitcher River Ryan, number 66, to the Tigers in the 3 prospect package that landed them 2-time Cy Young Award winner Tarik Skubal. Brewer shortstop, the new number 1 prospect. The new top overall prospect is Brewer shortstop Jesus Madi, followed by Athletics infielder Leo DeVries, Red Sox shortstop Franklin Urias, Nationals shortstop Eli Willits, and Mariners left-hander Cade Anderson in the top 5. The top 2 prospects on January's list were now eligible as Pirates shortstop/outfielder Connor Griffin, who is currently injured, and Tiger shortstop Kevin McGonigal have since graduated to the majors. Raptors will open 2026-27 season against Bulls, but Kawhi Leonard cloud hangs over Toronto, by Dan Balicki. While the situation involving the trade that will see Kawhi Leonard return to Toronto remains clouded, the Raptors at least now have clarity over their schedule for the 2026-27 NBA season. The team, along with the rest of the league, announced the regular season slate on Thursday for the coming campaign that Raptors fans hope will see the man who led Toronto to the franchise's lone NBA championship back in the fold. While it remains to be seen when the league's investigation into the ties between Leonard, the Los Angeles Clippers, and Aspiration, a now defunct green tech and financial services company allegedly used to pay Kawhi a no-show sponsorship deal, will conclude, at least there's a calendar to be mapped out. Who will the Raptors play in the season opener? For the 14th time in the past 15 seasons, and for the 25th time in franchise history, the Raptors will play their season opener at home this year, hosting the Chicago Bulls on Wednesday, October 21st at 7:30 p.m. The team then hits the road for its first away game on Friday, October 23rd in Washington, where it will take on number 1 overall pick AJ DeBonsta and the Washington Wizards. The league announced 80 of each team's 82-game slate on Thursday, with the remaining 2 to be set following the conclusion of the group stage play in the NBA Cup. The Raptors will be in a group featuring Orlando, Milwaukee, Detroit, and Brooklyn as part of the in-season tournament. When will SGA, Wemby, and LeBron come to Canada? The Raptors will get an early visit from the reigning NBA champion New York Knicks for a back-to-back set on November 15th and 17th. They'll later face Victor Wembanyama and the Western Conference champion San Antonio Spurs on December 16th. 2-time reigning NBA MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a native of Hamilton, comes to town on March 10th. The new-look Philadelphia 76ers, now featuring LeBron James and former Boston Celtics star Jaylen Brown alongside Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, will come to Toronto on January 10th and April 6th. It remains to be seen if James will be keeping his phone on airplane mode during the trips north of the border. But the games that might have the most intrigue, given the circumstances involving the Leonard trade, will come against the Clippers, with the Raptors heading Los Angeles on November 2nd and then hosting the Clips on New Year's Day. Toronto's longest homestand comes early in 2027, when the Raptors will host 6 games from January 7th through the 15th, including visits from the Timberwolves, Jazz, Sixers, Pistons, Suns, and Heat. The Raptors' longest trip will see them hit the road for 6 games in 11 days and travel through Utah, Portland, Golden State, Sacramento, Phoenix, and Detroit. The Raptors will play 15 back-to-back sets overall, which is the same number as last season, and will see the most action in January when they play 17 games. Toronto's regular season wraps up on April 11th at home against the Nets. Curling gets bigger television spotlight as Grand Slam and Rock League secure 5 league deals by Todd Schalehoff. Canadian curling fans are about to have more opportunities to watch the sport's biggest stars as the Grand Slam of Curling and Rock League have secured new 5-year broadcast agreements with Sportsnet and CBC. This means more Brad Jacobs, more Matt Dunstan, more Rachel Homan, more Carrie Einerson, and more of the other top shooters the nation has to offer in pivotal draws. The deals, announced Thursday, will deliver more than 300 hours of linear television coverage during the 2026-27 season, expanding the national presence of both the established Grand Slam Series and Rock League, the spot's first professional circuit. For the Grand Slam of Curling, the new agreement represents the most extensive television coverage in the series' history. Beginning in October, Sportsnet will remain the primary home of all 5 Grand Slam events, with expanded round-robin coverage featuring 3 draws daily from Tuesday through Friday. Weekend play will be shared across platforms with CBC and Sportsnet Plus, carrying Saturday playoffs and Sportsnet broadcasting Sunday finals alongside select additional Sunday coverage on CBC. Morning games and tiebreakers will continue to be streamed live on Rock Channel. For Nick Sulsky, CEO and co-founder of the Curling Group, which owns and operates both properties, the agreements represent an important step for a sport looking to reach beyond its traditional audience. This is a defining moment for the sport, Sulsky said. Sportsnet and CBC Sports see the opportunity to build on curling's incredible heritage and momentum, helping introduce it to new audiences. Rock League will return for its second season in January 2027 after debuting in April 2026, with CBC serving as its Canadian broadcast home. All games will air on CBC and stream on CBC Gem, with additional coverage on Radio Canada's ICITOU.TV and select Thursday and Friday games on Sportsnet. Events will run on select weekends in January and April, Thursday through Sunday. The league features 6 elite mixed-gender global franchises and was created to bring a professional international format to curling while introducing new ideas to the sport. We're excited to share another season of Rock League with audiences across Canada, building on the momentum and excitement of the inaugural event, said Chris Wilson, CBC's Executive Director of Sports and Olympics. CBC says the renewed partnership reflects its broader commitment to showcasing Canadian athletes, professional women's sport, and major sporting events, while Sportsnet emphasized its continued expansion of curling coverage. We're expanding our coverage to give fans more curling on Sportsnet than ever before, said Greg Sansom, president of Sportsnet. Through our continued partnership with the Curling Group, we're building on the momentum of the Grand Slam of Curling and Rock League to bring even more world-class curling to Canadians across the country. The agreements come as curling continues to evolve, with the Grand Slam maintaining its elite traditional competition, while Rock League pushes a new professional mixed-gender global model. Together, the two properties aim to blend curling's established heritage with its emerging future as organizers look to convert increased broadcast exposure into a growing fan base across Canada and beyond. Full broadcast schedules and broadcast teams for the upcoming Grand Slam season are expected to be announced in the coming weeks. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Toronto Sun on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Popular trainer Harold Latissiere chases King's Plate glory with I'm Your Medicine Man by Richard Muntaugh. After Vitality won the 2024 Prince of Wales Stakes, trainer Harold Latissiere was quite emotional after. He understood the meaning of a Canadian Triple Crown race when, not only for himself and his family, but for the Metis community celebrating this sporting achievement. Latissiere will now be eyeing a King's Plate win when he sends out I'm Your Medicine Man in Saturday's $1 million Classic. And a win would trigger emotions again throughout the entire Woodbine backstretch where Ladouceur is a popular figure. A son of 2015 plate winner Shaman Ghost, I'm Your Medicine Man nearly pulled off a 28-1 win in the plate trial stakes on July 19th. The gelding battled highway to the moon through much of the stretch, only falling a length short. Up to that point, he only had a maiden win as a 2-year-old and was not close in his 2 previous starts this year. Entertainment. Nick Reiner was allegedly lying in wait before parents Rob and Michelle Reiner were killed, a profound betrayal, by Danette Wilford. Nick Reiner has been indicted by a grand jury for the slayings of his parents, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner, last December. Reiner was arrested hours after his parents' bodies were discovered and has been held in custody without bail since pleading not guilty to the murders in February. He was in a Los Angeles courtroom on Wednesday to answer to the new charges, which will replace the original murder case filed in 2025, KNBC reported. Indictment unsealed. The 32-year-old was initially charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances relating to multiple homicides, allowing the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office to seek a sentence of life without parole upon conviction. The grand jury, who had been meeting in secret, returned the indictment on July 20th, which was unsealed Wednesday. It revealed the special circumstance allegations that Reiner committed the stabbing murders by means of lying in wait before attacking his parents in the early morning of December 14, 2025, in their Brentwood, California home, meaning prosecutors believe the killings were premeditated. The other special circumstances allegation is he personally used a deadly weapon. Reiner pled not guilty to the new charges. Special circumstances allegations can increase penalties in the sentencing phase of a trial, including the possibility of life without parole. A finding that he was lying in wait along with a murder conviction would make Reiner eligible for the death penalty, but prosecutors said they haven't decided if they are seeking it. One step closer. This is a profound betrayal by someone who was loved and trusted by the very people he is accused of killing, Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan J. Hochman said in a statement per KNBC. The indictment unsealed today also adds a special circumstance allegation that the defendant committed the murders by means of lying in wait, he continued. We hope that by having a grand jury return an indictment in this case, it will bring us one step closer to a trial and achieving justice. Reiner's appointed defense attorney, LA Deputy Public Defender Kimberly Green, did not comment following the arraignment, according to the outlet. The indictment speeds up the process, allowing prosecutors to skip the preliminary hearing where evidence is publicly aired. Reiner is scheduled to return for pretrial hearing on September 15th, when the judge will likely set dates for a trial. Details of the case hush-hush. Prosecutors have yet to detail their case against Reiner, but they've alleged that Reiner stabbed his 78-year-old father and 70-year-old mother, fled the scene, and checked into the Pierside Santa Monica Hotel hours later. He was arrested later that night near a gas station in South Los Angeles. It remains unclear if Reiner will seek an insanity defense, though it is believed his history of drug use and related mental health disorders will play a major role in the trial and sentencing. It's been widely reported that he was diagnosed with schizophrenia years ago and was being treated for a serious psychiatric disorder at the time of his parents' murder. There were reports that the medication Reiner was taking in the weeks leading up to the killings had made him erratic and dangerous. In June, Reiner filed a lawsuit against his family's trust demanding the release of $1.5 million that was due to him on his 30th birthday, so he could defend himself in court. A hearing on the trust lawsuit is set for August 17th. Robin Williams' ex pays tribute to actor on anniversary of his death by Mark Danielle. Robin Williams' former girlfriend, artist Charlotte Filbert, is paying tribute to the late actor on the 12th anniversary of his death. Filbert dated Williams in the late 2000s after he split from his second wife, Marcia Garces. The two were reportedly linked between 2007 and 2009 and met after Williams had purchased some artwork from her. This week, Filbert shared old photos of the pair, saying that Williams is missed. 12 years ago, you had to go somewhere else. I miss your voicemails. You mattered. You changed me. You made the world feel bigger. She captioned a carousel of images posted on Instagram. The slideshow shows Filbert holding up old photos of the couple together along with several toys he gave her. I wish we were in a bookstore somewhere having coffee, laughing, holding hands. I am grateful I got to love you and to be loved by you, Filbert continued. Filbert lamented the passage of time and shared some of the moments she still remembers from their time together. Sometimes I tell friends about the time I climbed up in your lap, started smushing your face together and said, "There you are, Peter." And you laughed and laughed. Life is so short. This still effing hurts. There's only one you. Thank you for everything, she said. Filbert also revealed that Williams loved toys and collectibles, including a photo of an RU toy from the Dark Crystal that he gave her. He also used Genesis Throwing It All Away to soundtrack the post. Her post was flooded with remembrances for the Oscar winner, with one fan writing that he had been a part of what defines me. It always hurts to see a picture of him, but in a good way. Definitely miss him, another said. I wish I could have known him in real life. One of my first experiences with his work was as the Man in the Moon from Terry Gilliam's The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. A third person added, "What a fun and fantastical movie. One of my favorites as a kid, right next to Hook, which might be my all-time favorite." Lewy body dementia killed Robin. Williams died by suicide on August 12, 2014, at the age of 63. It subsequently emerged that he had been suffering from depression, anxiety, the early stages of Parkinson's disease, and diffuse Lewy body dementia. His wife, Susan Schneider, told Good Morning America in 2015 that doctors had estimated he had maybe 3 years to live prior to his death. Lewy body dementia killed Robin. It's what took his life. It's chemical warfare in the brain, and we can't find it till someone dies definitively. There's no cure, she said. During her appearances on GMA, Schneider said that she didn't blame Williams for taking his own life. I got to tell him, I forgive you 5 billion% with all my heart. You're the bravest man I've ever known. You know we were living a nightmare, she said at the time. After his death, Filbert told the Daily Mail she was very, very sad. I have my own family now. I just had a baby, and I'm thinking about his family, she stated at the time. Williams was the father of 3 children, son Zach, 43, with his first wife, Valerie Velarde, and daughter Zelda, 37, and son Cody Allen, 34, with his second wife, Marcia Garces. Zach also honored his father in a post on X, saying he has never stopped talking to him. I tell you about the people who write to me because you got them through their worst night. I tell you about the work, the wins, the days that ask too much, he wrote. Mostly I tell you about your grandchildren. They know your laugh. They ask about what you were like. I tell them you were kind. You spent your life making people feel less alone. That job is ours now. Miss you today. Miss you always. Love you forever. Sean Diddy Combs released from solitary confinement after scrap with fellow inmate by Danette Wilford. Sean Diddy Combs' stint in solitary is over. The music mogul 56 returned to the main line at FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey after he allegedly got into an altercation with another prisoner last month, TMZ reported. According to multiple sources, the other inmate dissed Diddy, prompting the rap producer to take matters into his own hands, setting off a shoving match that escalated to punches being thrown. Prison staff quickly stepped in and separated the 2 men. TMZ's insider said Diddy was immediately tossed in the hole. Diddy's daughter speaks out. Diddy's 19-year-old daughter, Jussie, shared how her father is doing in prison during an interview with Entertainment Tonight in July. He's been very focused, like being a better person for his family, she told the outlet. He's been very focused and he's just always been there for us. He's a great dad. Jussie also shared that she and her siblings have maintained great relationships with their dad while he is behind bars. Diddy has 7 children, sons Quincy and Christian, and twin daughters Jessie and Delilah, with the late Kim Porter, son Justin with Misa Hilton, daughter Chance with Sarah Chapman, and daughter Love with Dana Tran. We definitely are very close, and he gives the best advice, like with clothing. He's very, very knowledgeable in that aspect, Jussie said, referring to her and Sister Delilah's fashion label. We ask him all the time, like, we need help on this or we need help on that. He's always going to be there and he's always going to tell us the right answer, she added. He's literally never wrong. Like everything that he has told us about this, it's been so helpful. His original release date was June 4th, 2028, but has since been changed several times, with the earliest date being January 24th, 2028, but was pushed back earlier this month to February 20th, 2028. It's unclear whether the shift from January to February release was disciplinary action taken from the alleged fight that landed him in solitary. The facility never officially confirmed Diddy's solitary status, stating at the time, "We are not at liberty to disclose or provide internal information pertaining to any inmate in our custody." The prison said in a similar statement about his release from solitary, "For privacy, safety, and security reasons, we do not release information regarding the conditions of confinement for any inmate, including housing assignments, nor do we discuss whether a particular inmate is in the subject of allegations, investigations, or sanctions." You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the August 13th, 2026 issue of the Toronto Sun. Your reader has been Cheryl McGuire. Thank you for listening.